I don't like waiting 45 minutes for a solicitor to pick up the phone. I don't want to wait for a BDM to call me after 45 minutes. Don't worry about the tools. Just see what you want to achieve first. Tools always come next. Today I have AI calling a customer 6 months before their deal finishes, before the bank calls, and talk to the customer and book an appointment in my diary. I've heard brokers say, put a credit file on ChatGPT and it gives me answers, right? Don't ever do that. They use it for training and monitoring purposes. AI won't replace mortgage brokers, but it will refine them. So where to start? Let's look at the practical side, right? Remember, I'm an on-code person. I'm not a developer, and I'm going to tell you what I would do to start. Again, I've tried this with a few people. It has worked. Yes, it starts here. There are quite a few lenders out there who will give you a free book today. Go and take one of that. That's where you need to start. Write down all your frustrations. Am I waiting? I don't like waiting 45 minutes for a solicitor to pick up the phone. I don't want to wait for a BDM to call me after 45 minutes. Those are your frustrations. Your repetitive task. Going through bank statements, right? You have worked with a self-employed client, they might have 70 pages worth of bank statements, personal as well. Sometimes they mix it up as well, right? So let's not go there. But put all those things that frustrate you and the repetitive stuff that you do. Once you've done that, just give yourself 7 days. Don't take longer than that because you'll never get this done, right? We've tried this before. I'm telling you through experience, just give yourself 7 days. So once you've done that, you also put down what you want to achieve in the next year, the next 2 years, and the next 5 years. And again, I'm not a big advocate telling people to go and buy tools, right? But I want you all to invest on something like ChatGPT, right? Again, it's a personal choice. ChatGPT, Gemini, you got Claude, there's so many LLMs out there. So go create your own GPT and put all your frustrations down there, your objectives, because I'm saying write it in the book first because you might cut and chop, right? And you might add more things as well. Bring it there. And it will give you a plan of what you want to achieve, but break it down, right? Because again, it depends on the size of the organization. Break it down by marketing, say HR if you're recruiting, finance, so compliance, there's so many areas, right? Because it can help you in all those areas. So put those, tell ChatGPT or whatever platform you use to break it down by that. And today using that, I have actually created my thought partner. So I've got business partners, one of them sitting in the crowd here, but they don't know I have a thought partner as well, right? So I talk to my thought partner. It tells me what I'm supposed to do today, right? If I'm not happy, I challenge it. Don't accept everything it does tell you, right? But challenge it, right? Say, nope, I don't think this is possible. Let's come up with an alternative plan. It'll tell you. So it gives me ideas on what to do. So once you have those objectives set up, that's when you need to start looking at tools. A lot of people come and say, okay, what tool can I buy for this? What tool can I buy for that? I always tell people, don't worry about the tools. Just see what you want to achieve first. Tools always come next, right? So we'll go into a little bit more detail on that. I would say that the starting point is to get LLM, right? Again, it's 20 pounds, right? I think everybody charges around the same today. Just invest some money. It really depends on your personal preferences, but I'll give you mine as well, right? What I use and what I think. I use all of these, but at the same time, I have my favorite, right? I'll tell you what that as well. So if you look at something, if you're doing a lot of research, Perplexity is probably what works for you. If you are doing a lot of general stuff, right? You're getting content ideas or get help to write letters, ChatGPT is quite helpful. I think Claude has become a little popular. Again, I come back to Claude. Recently, that's quite helpful as well. But my favorite, okay, I'll touch on Claude as well because Claude's helped you organize certain things like your files and things like that. So it's done a lot of improvement because they've introduced something called, I think, co-work, I think it's called, right? It's pretty good. I use it as well. I can't remember the exact name. I think it's called Cowork. So it's pretty good, right? But my favorite is Gemini, Google Gemini. That's my favorite. Why? Because Gemini has a whole ecosystem, right? All of these other platforms, they buy information from Google because they're the ones who has all the information, right? So that's one reason. But because they have a whole ecosystem, right? I'll show you how I use it as well. So if I get a lead overnight that comes through my website today, that lead goes to a Google Sheet, right? So, on that, all the list, there'll be a list down. So from that Google Sheet, there will be an email sent out to the customer saying, hi, thanks for your inquiry. Now, I'm not involved, right? This is an AI agent or your AI employee doing this, right? So all of these, again, is zero code, right? That's why I'm telling you this. The email goes out, and if somebody has referred that person, they will also get an email saying, thank you for referring, right? I'm not involved still. And what my AI will do today is it'll call the customer and say, you get leads, right? And some of these leads you can't work with. You just can't, right? You just have to say, sorry, I can't work with you, right? So 30 minutes on the call, sometimes the last minute, last minute they say that, you can't, we can't continue the call, right? So that's what it does. But with the AI agent, it helps you. But Google has all this. Plus it has things like Nano Banana for you to do, pictures. Then you can have, Google Veo, which does like movies as well, right? So small videos for you. So that's why I think Google is great, right? So that's that. And then you have communication, right? So with communication, there's a lot of things you can do today. Today I have AI calling a customer 6 months before their deal finishes, before the bank calls, and talk to the customer and book an appointment in my diary, right? So that's something that it does. I also have a chatbot on the website which will answer questions, general questions that customers have. So that makes things simple for them as well. And then meeting notes. This is a big thing for me. Today I go into a call and it tells me what questions to ask the customer, because I no longer use generic tools like Zoom. I no longer use tools like Teams. I use a tool that's specifically for mortgage brokers. So we have those. At the end of the call, I have a fact find coming out on the other side. So that's a simple. And it tells me what questions to ask the customer. Because I once had a very embarrassing situation because I forgot to ask a customer a question. And I had to call them back and say, look, I forgot to ask, do you get a bonus? He kept silent for 2 seconds. And he turned around and said, isn't that basic? And that was the last time I heard from that customer. And it was a £1 million loan, right? So you lost the customer. So that's when I thought you need to have a better system. So that's with the meeting notes. Compliance, right? So a lot of people ask me whether this is safe to use. I'll be careful. I've spoken to FCA around this many times, but FCA is okay for you to use technology. This is my understanding. Please check with your compliance as well. FCA is okay for you to use technology, provided you give the advice. Remember, you're the advice. You're that 10%. FCA is also okay if there's no breach in GDPR regulations, right? So I've heard brokers say, put a credit file on ChatGPT and it gives me answers, right? Don't ever do that, because they use it for training and monitoring purposes, right? So you don't want to, be flagged somewhere else. Don't do that. But also very importantly, if you're using a partner for your tech, just make sure they don't use that, right? So you might not use it, but they might use that, right? So ask questions like that. So that's quite important in terms of trust, right? Always remember, you're still the advisor. Advice has to come from you. Today, there's systems based on criteria and based on what the customer tells you, it can find products for you. And it'll tell you, you can recommend this product to the customer, right? But you are responsible for the advice. So don't just blindly blast that onto the customer. So it's very important that you follow those steps. So the future, AI won't replace mortgage brokers. but it will refine them. I'll take an example. My son, 16-year-old, is doing his GCSEs in 3 weeks' time or 6 weeks' time. He woke up to Alexa in the house. He asks questions from Alexa, and he tells me he wants to be a mortgage broker. So when he comes to this space, AI, he's born with AI. So he knows how to use AI. He won't like to do the way that we like doing stuff. They are native AI users. So you're going to have challenges from people like that. And also AI today is not expensive, right? It's definitely not expensive. So it's affordable for a lot of firms. So if you don't do it, somebody else will do it, and you will miss out. So that's something that you have to work on. I'm happy to help all of you all. I'm putting my contact details here. There should be a QR code. If you want, you can message AI Desk on my LinkedIn. I'm sure I'm connected to quite a lot of you all as well. But I am starting a small group of mortgage brokers who are very keen on AI, right? Because we are, there are some products I'm sort of developing, which I'll give you all to use as well, right? And help people out who are struggling. If somebody wants help with setting up an AI agent, I'm sure we can help you all. So if you all want to be a part of that network as well, you can still use the same thing and type network. I'll be more than happy to have you all in the group. But you need to be committed though, right? Because it's not somewhere we charge people fees, but we need your feedback. And obviously we'll give you a lot of tools that you can use for free. That's the whole idea. So if you are interested in joining that, please type the word network as well. So thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you got something out of it. Thank you very much for your time.